Everything depends on how much you want this new consciousness of supply. When you looked at Jesus, your eyes saw just the form of another man. You had no idea how he could be anything but what you see. You didn't know that he was infinite. Jesus was the infinite I. Whatever you presented to him, he saw it differently. He never saw fractions, never saw a sick man. He saw wholeness. He was letting grace reveal perfection, where the human eye saw imperfection. Now you are building that consciousness. The world brings impressions to you. Ordinarily, you accept what you see. Now, with the new infinite consciousness trying to be born, it is going to do the work. Within, it converts all impressions back to spiritual reality. Automatically, independent of your five senses. Which present an imitation world, it preserves the original. And it produces from the original within itself outer forms which bring the infinite invisible into your life. The infinite I consciousness does this for you. Once it becomes automatic, it's heaven. For a long time, however, it's difficult. But you adapt. Once you learn how to take no thought, how to put up no barrier, no judgments of the outer images that you see, no opinions, no evaluations, no reasoning. And become detached. That's a hard word for some people to get used to. Detached from the outer, knowing God is the only inhabitant of this earth, you will give the inner a chance to make the images conform to the divine plan. We now know that God does not determine our supply. It's determined by our belief, by our developed state of consciousness. Our experience of the I Am, the Spirit, revealed by Jesus when he said, before Abraham was, I am. He was not speaking of a man with a finite, limited approach to life. But to him, I was infinite. He was not enclosed in a tomb in the Holy Land called body. He was spirit, infinite spirit. And he lived in the infinite kingdom of spirit. And you and I are being taught that as we approach that level, which is the Christ mind, our supply is maintained by grace. We're also being told that we can attain that consciousness. And because our way shower, our teacher, is Christ, we are being told that it is God's will that we attain Christ consciousness. The source of your being is God. Your source is perfect, infinite, eternal. And because you cannot be less than your source, your realization of true infinity reveals that I and the Father are not two. Whatever the Father has, I have in fullness. And I must press on beyond human thought to Christ's thought. Christ's thought must fill my consciousness. If I and the Father are one, not two, I cannot have a separate form. I cannot have a separate form. I cannot be in one form and you in another form. If I limit myself to the experience of my form, I'm just another mortal, a branch cut off from God. To receive divine thought, I must be the tree of life. I cannot even be an individual branch, for I am the life of the tree, and life can never be separate from itself. Release man. Release your false sense of life in form. Awaken to the one divine life. Never let go of that vital realization. I am the infinite life of God. And then trust it to be your sufficiency in all things. Now, will you sit in judgment of your own life? Do you have a separate life? If there is someone, anyone, whom God does not embrace in oneness, who is it? Is it possible for anyone to have another life? As the life is infinite, it cannot exist or be imprisoned in a finite form. The form must be as infinite as the life, and the substance of the form must be infinite. And omnipresent. Another way to phrase it would be, omnipresence is the presence of infinity. Let's hold that thought for a minute in meditation. Omnipresence is the presence of infinity. God is omnipresent. God is spirit. Everywhere is spirit, God. And God is all. If God is everywhere present and God is all, then every disease on the face of the earth denies this. God and cancer, spirit and cancer, Can they exist in the same place? No. Where spirit is, cancer is not. But spirit is everywhere. If spirit is there, God is not. But spirit is everywhere. Go deeper. Where is the cancer? Well, where is the cancer? We've just decided that God is all and everywhere. If the phone rings right now and says, I'm suffering from angina, are you going to panic? No. Say to yourself, where is the angina? There's no place that it can be. And your realization that there is no place where it can be will manifest as the healing. Truth in consciousness heals. But it must be truth realized, not words. You've got to feel it in your depth. There's no place for disease in omnipresence. That consciousness realized was every healing of divine law, every healing of disease by Christ Jesus. There is no place for disability. Pick up thy bed and walk. When you face disease or disability in your healing work, ask yourself this question: where is the disease? Where is the disability? And then relax. Omnipresent Spirit has no place where disease or disability can occur. You are looking at an illusion, but you are looking at an illusion. I am looking beyond the illusion. The infinite I of you must do the looking. The infinite I of you must unsee what the human eye sees. You see an image in mind called cancer or disability. You see that in a mortal mind. Still divided. Between the belief in good and evil. You are serving mammon, not God. It's not a crime. You must do this again and again and again until you have overcome mortal mind. Until you can see with the inner eye. With the soul. And you can then know that there is no disease there. There is no cancer there. There is no disability there. Suddenly the consciousness of the omnipresence of God removes the belief in disease and disability. The belief is gone. You know it isn't there. You can look at an earthquake and the belief will suddenly depart in the midst of the earthquake. There's no earthquake here. There's no epidemic here. AIDS is not here. Flood is not here. Fire is not here. I am not here. When I first heard the voice say, "You are not here," I was shocked completely. I was coming up an elevator, and I heard it. "You are not here." I looked around at everybody in the elevator. We got off, and I thought maybe I was mishearing. As I got off the elevator, I heard it. As I was sitting with friends to dine, I heard it again. "You are not here." Yes, it's a very funny feeling. I even looked around to see if anyone knew I wasn't here. It's very different. But it comes with the healing consciousness. Your big question might be, what if I know the truth? I know it. But the problem continues to appear to haunt me. What if I know the fire isn't, but it burns down my house? Or the earthquake can't be, but it crushes my home? All I can say is, it happened to Job. And if you get the message from that, everything will be revealed to you. the consciousness of God's presence, in the knowledge of the perfection of God's presence, you are assured that there is no disease, no disability, no disaster. You are also assured of continuous supply. God never needs a thing. Christ consciousness maintains itself. Every need is met. Whatever form is needed will appear. Now let's look at the omnipresence of infinity. You're walking in infinity all the time because it's omnipresent. At any point of infinity, infinity is still omnipresent. Infinity is infinite from any point you touch it in the spirit. Can God's infinity be limited? No. Can omnipresence be limited? No. Then God cannot be limited. Can God's body be limited? No. Therefore, God cannot be in a limited form. Son, all I have is thine. Can your body be limited? Before you answer that, think. God is the substance of all form. Why? Because God is infinite and God is all. Your body cannot be limited. Therefore, where is your body? Stop and think of yourself. You cannot be everywhere and in a body. And you are everywhere. Your whole unfoldment depends on I everywhere. And therefore you cannot be in a body. But if you don't know it, it cannot function for you. You should take time to know I am not in a form. I am not in a place. I am omnipresent. I am everywhere. You must know this. You must be conscious of it until it's an automatic thing. If you take a half hour a day to recognize the omnipresence of your I, you will be doing yourself a favor. When omnipresent God offers you everything, how can you be limited? How can anything in you be limited? That knowledge that I am one with God who is infinite supply and omnipresent, gives you pure truth that you are invisible supply. Wherever your form is, you are invisible supply. Because the you that has infinite supply is the infinite invisible which you acknowledge. Practice that. You'll find it very worthwhile. You acknowledge yourself to be the infinite invisible, and it is the substance of everything visible. And it remains your infinite supply forever. You don't even have to pray for it. Your awareness of infinity determines its appearance. Knowledge appears as form. Spiritual knowledge. If you are living, moving, having your being in the presence of God, like the prophets, that presence becomes your shelter, your protection, your security, your everything. Just to hold the presence of God in consciousness and to know that I am this presence without opposite touches the infinite presence itself. And this realization is the power of multiplication, even the raising of the dead. Now, let us be still, impregnated with the living Word. And miracles happen. No mental power. Do not demonstrate anything. The presence of God will demonstrate itself as form. Now, 10 minutes from now, it has to demonstrate itself as form in your life. We want to hold this. We're asking for nothing. We're merely knowing the oneness, the I, that is the universe, the I that I am. I cannot be cut off from God. Who is Spirit. And that same Spirit I am. It's an incredible truth that God and I are one, of the very same Spirit. And there's only one Spirit. Which God is, which I am. Well, we have one more talk to go. And then we're off to Chicago. The Easter seminar will take place at the weekend of Easter, starting on a Thursday night, ending on a Monday morning. I think it's about this. Easter is probably the 16th. I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's the 16th. And we invite all of Chicago to turn out, and the next town, and the next town, and the next town. We have room for you. We have an infinite conference room. And we want to share the healing experience. This has been a preparation. We want to now get into it. And so you can be sure that the last talk will further that preparation. As far as Saturday, our Saturday meditation, let us take into consciousness that disease and disability are impossible. In the realized presence of infinite Spirit. As the omnipresent truth. In the realized presence of Spirit, of infinite Spirit, as the realized omnipresent truth. In fact, if you care to, you can join me every morning at 6:30 a.m. That's 8:30. Well, Hawaii time is 6:30. The Saturday meditations, for example, are now at 6 o'clock California time, and I will join you at 4 o'clock, which is our time here. But for these morning meditations, I'm going to do them at 6:30. I'm sorry if it's a little later than you can spare. I'm doing them here at 6:30 in Kauai, so you'll have to see what time it is. It's 8:30 in California, and you can go from there around the country and abroad. What we'll do is, I'm pretty sure that everything you experience will be a fruit of the Spirit. And I'd like to speed up our meditations and frequency, that is, so that we can really, from now to Chicago, get into the mood of it, show up there sort of ready for anything. So that'll be 6:30 here, 8:30 California. Every day that you can make it. Even on Christmas morning, we want to make this year-end the springboard for a beautiful expression in 1990. Because during the coming year, it is our hope that we will see all of you again and hear from you in many ways, but mostly we would like to know that the message has taken root, so that you won't be looking forward to Christmas once a year, but Christmas every day. And by that I mean Christ Mass every day. A chance to know the Christ within is not a one day a year. It's a joy every minute. And we wish to inculcate the deep need and deep reward of being aware of Christ every single second. Christ wherever you look, so your instant reaction to anything is not what my eye sees or what I feel, but how does Christ see it? That will become an automatic thing, a thing that we hope will change this world. This is definitely a spiritual age, and this is definitely the time when man awakens from the mortal sleep, and we are going to further that day so that it comes upon you as a much cherished reward for your effort in remembering that every day is Christ's day. I'm going to see you soon, and I thank you for being with me throughout this year, and we're going to share a lot of experiences in the forthcoming year. By the way, look for your tape later in January, about, January 15th. Until we meet soon, aloha.